Hey folks, I'm Chris Salisbury. Welcome to Southern Motor Company. Today I'm proud to show you probably one of the nicest Porsche 944s in the country. Please stay with us. Hey, it's Chris again. I would first like to discuss how I received this vehicle. A lot of our vehicles come from the auction. They go through a good inspection before they are sent to our store. Normally I drive them, of course. I put my hands on them. Often customers will trade a vehicle in. Often customers will give us a call and say, hey, I've got this so-and-so car. Are you interested? In this case, a friend of mine in the car business, it was his father-in-law's car. And from what I remember, it's been a couple years now, his father-in-law had passed away. The daughter and wife, who he married, of course, inherited the car. What's interesting, though, is he financed it, I think through Porsche America, and he made maybe 3 or 4 payments back in 86, 87 when the car was new, and he passed away. And the vehicle, credit life disability insurance, paid the car off. And so they owned the car ever since then. It sat in the garage, got cranked once in a while, got driven here and there. I think in 2010 or 12, they started driving it a little bit more. Lived here in Charleston area, Mount Pleasant, I think it was. And then the car just sat up, probably the last 6 or 7 years. The car kind of sat up, got cranked once in a while, didn't really get the love it deserved. And my buddy calls me up and says, hey, I've got this Porsche, are you interested? I said, what kind? And he said, it's a 944. I was like, oh God, what kind of condition is it? He said, oh, it's pretty good, it's got low miles. I don't know how many miles, it's a manual. That's all I really know. We agreed on the price. I went and looked at the car, cranked it up, went around the block. It ran okay. And we made a deal and the car got dropped off at one of my workshops. The car sat in my second location that was more of our warehouse location, like for storing cars. It sat there for probably 3 or 4 months before I touched it. I still would crank it and just move it and park it back where it was at just to keep the fluids rolling. But anyways, so about a year ago, I said, okay, I got to do something with this car. And took it down to Auto House. They do service work for us as well. I use European Road Racing and Auto House here in Charleston. Great techs, great people. And I said, hey, go throughout this car, tell me what you see. I gave them a list of a few things that I had saw. And I said, how the AC worked, the windows worked, the headlights worked, and it needed tires. It just needed good refreshing in general. And for what we had being from what we're understanding, a one-owner vehicle, with 50,000 miles, well 59 to be honest with you, and no dash cracks, and a great headliner, and great paint, and great wheels, and it's just a nice car, great glass. I want to know what it's going to take to make it one of the nicest cars in the country, if possible. And so they gave me a list, said, hey, here's what we found, a couple things I found, a couple things they found, and we put a plan together. And after about 7 or 8 months of it, being over in the shop and then coming back over to my place to have a couple door dings taken care of, and then when I pressure test here and there and a little road test here and there back and forth, and hey, I noticed this, get back in there and take care of this please. Just little odds and ends. After about, I got to check my computer, but I think it's been right at about 700 and something days that I've actually owned the car since the day I purchased the vehicle, and based on timeline for service work and all. But when we got done with service and mechanical stuff, I said, okay, I'll get to it when I get to it. So about 2 or 3 more months passed by until I really had the time to take the wheels off, get inside all the suspension parts, put the car on the lift it was on the lift for that, get the trunk area, everything underneath the trunk where your spare tire would be, or probably, actually it does have a spare tire, I think, would be at. Detailed to the max, all your suspension detailed to the max, the undercarriage. You'll have pictures of this as well. The motor came out amazing. And I'd spend an hour here, 2 hours there. I have nothing going on. I go an hour and a half over there. you know, lay a pinstripe on it. I did a jet seal ceramic wax on it. I just went throughout all the nooks and crannies, you know, really just said to myself, hey, I've had it for a couple years. If I'm gonna make it nice, let's make it right. And since I come from a detail background, you know, I did kind of what I call a light concours detail. I'm not taking the car apart and doing a massive, complete off-body restoration for a car show such as that, but it's the nooks and crannies. You know, emblems get popped off, the gas cap gets separated, the hinge stuff gets separated and cleaned and polished behind that. You know, parts get pulled off the motor compartment and polished and put back in place. You know, the car's carefully cleaned inside and steamed to get rid of any allergens. And, you know, whatever has happened since the car was built in '87, she's 35, 36 years old. Heck, I spent an hour just doing little itty bitty brush touches on the front bumper, little nicks, little small chips and things. The only paint work I did in this vehicle was the front clip, or the lower valance. Completely disassembled it, took it off, fog lights came out. I went to the body shops, they shot it for me. That was probably shot 1.5 years ago. It just sat in the shop, not painted or not installed. But I'm gonna go over just a quick rundown of the service things that were done. It got the time belt service, which includes the water pump. Spark plugs were replaced. It's got a new radiator. It's got newer cooling fans off of 91, I think it was. They're just a little more efficient than the ones that were in the car. It's got all new cooling hoses. They did an expansion tank while they were there, a new expansion tank while they were there, new thermostats, of course. The head was gone throughout just to make sure it was solid, cleaned up, refreshed. Of course, we also did new head gaskets while we were there. It's got new Michelins. The vehicle, pretty much, we've gone through the things that we could think of that needed to be serviced if we were to own the car and to drive the vehicle. All right, let's go see this thing on the road. Come join us. Hey folks, we appreciate you taking your time to look at our video, look at our vehicle. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at 843-277-2983 and have a good afternoon.